Have you heard? Metro by T-Mobile now includes Amazon Prime. Yes, enjoy the best of shopping and entertainment, movies, TV shows, music, free shipping, and much more. All included for just $40 per line for 3 lines. All on the T-Mobile network. Discover the smarter way. Metro by T-Mobile. That's genius. One offer per account. Offer subject to change. $12.99 per month value. Offer valid for new Amazon Prime members. Metro customers may notice reduced speeds versus some T-Mobile customers. Video at 480p. Capable device required. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Aquarian Radio at aquarianradio.com. And I'm your host, Janet Carol Lesson, with my co-host, Reverend John Polk. And today we're going to talk to the Sandia. Woo! Here we go. Oh, I've got to turn that one off. Radio at Aquarian Radio. Whoop, feedback. All right, let's try that again. Today we're going to talk to Kevin Estrella, and he is, I'll tell you all about him. And he's working with the Sandia-Zetas, and John Polk has had contact with the Sandia-Zetas. So, and I think I have too, or at least I've had contact with the Zetas. Let me tell you a little bit about Kevin, and I'll tell you about the Zetas. About Kevin. Not many musicians have captured the interest of off-world visitors like Kevin Estrella. Kevin is no stranger to the UFO phenomena. An interdimensional craft flew within 100 yards of him on August 21st, 2014. His sighting was investigated and verified by MUFON, which is the Mutual UFO Network, and he has had contact at least 3 times with craft of unearthly origin.
I got a question for you.
And Kevin is...
I'm on Aquarian Radio, and they would love for you to be on. I don't know what you're doing right now.
We're on live. So you can have them call me at 646-649-0893. And I
we're on for about 2 hours.
Right.
I got a number for you.
Oh, well, if you tell me the number here, it'll be live across the world. Put it in Skype. I don't think you want to give me the number.
649-0983.
No, 0893.
Oh, is it 0893?
Yes,
Sorry, it's 0.
Okay. So.
Yeah, actually, it's 0893.
Correct. Okay, listeners, we're going to be getting the Zetas, the Sandia-Zetas, calling in just a minute.
Show. That's right, yeah.
It's Aquarian Radio.
Awesome.
This is the Extraterrestrial Network show, so people
okay,
who
so
tune into this
I'll let you go. You can call into that number. You'll be okay? Awesome. Thanks, Sue. All right, cool.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Wonderful.
Where go?
Oh,
this is going to be awesome.
Well, let me see if they're there. Nope, they're not yet. Okay.
Yeah, they're just going into a quieter room.
Okay, great. While we're waiting for them, I want to bring on my co-host, Reverend John Polk, who has met the Zetas as well as I have. So, John, are you there?
Yes. Yeah. Hey, Kevin. How you doing, Reverend John Polk?
How you doing?
I've read
nice
about
to
you.
meet you.
Seen you on social media quite a bit, and I'm familiar with your music some. And anyway, I just got back from contact in the desert. I must have seen 20 UFOs. It was incredible. Really? Yeah, and every time I saw UFOs, there was multiple witnesses also. It was one of the best. It was one of the best experiences I ever had in my life by far. But there's a story behind how I came in communication with Sandia, but I'll wait until she gets on the line before I even mention it.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, she reached out to me through Twitter maybe a year and a half ago, and then you'll love the story that follows, but I'll hold on for her.
Yeah,
she
we're
told me
still
some
waiting
crazy
for...
stories.
And I've had contact with Zetas all of my life, and maybe what's the name of our person who channels the Zetas? What did you say her name was, Sue or something?
There's Sue and Otter.
And
there's
what was
two
the
of them.
second name?
Otter,
what was
like the animal.
Otter. Okay, Sue and Otter. Oh, I've heard of them before. Yeah, Sue and Otter. Well, anyway, maybe she can help clarify some things for me, because I'm a lifelong experiencer, and I've had, a lot of interaction with Zetas and all kinds of species. And I'm not sure which Zetas. They're the same Zetas as the Sandia Zetas. And what are the different, variations on the theme? I don't want to use that G word. They don't want to
yes,
use it.
exactly.
So how have you been, Kevin? While we're waiting, why don't you let me know?
I've been doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a very nice conversation with the group this morning, and I'll just say that Teeny and Giroudi moved me to tears this morning, so it was quite.
Oh, they did. They do.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, because I was dealing with something that was really bothering me, and I said maybe you felt it telepathically, and they said we did. We know what's bothering you. And I was like, oh my gosh, they know. So it was very touching.
Well, it's lovely that they can read your mind, so they know right where to go, cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Sue, do we have here? Is this Sue or Otter or both of you?
It's just Sue. Hello.
Hi, Sue. Welcome to Aquarian Radio, the Experiencers Network. Thank you for joining us.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you very well.
Very good.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, excellent. So I guess let's start with you, Sue. Do you want to tell us about yourself and how you started to make contact with the Sandia Zetas? And a little bit about...
Sure.
Great. Okay, well, listen.
All right.
Go ahead.
So the way this started is, first of all, you have to understand I have clairvoyant and medical intuitive for 25 years now. Okay. And so I've been used to the paranormal world. I also have been an experiencer since age 3. I remember seeing my first Star Nation person go through a wall about age 3.5 to 4, and it scared me to pieces at the time. I had enough experiences, conscious ones. I've never been hypnotized. I've never needed to be hypnotized because everything has been a conscious daytime or nighttime experience that I remember of my own volition. And so I can't be so many. Back in the late 90s, my spouse at the time and I witnessed some things, and that's when my first up-close personal contact with 2 different nations happened in June of 1998. One was about 10 days after I spotted a bright white oval UFO that was about the size of a small plane, hovering about 100 feet above one of Iowa State University's genetic research fields of dairy cattle. And I knew that's what it was because I'd taken those courses in those fields. And when I saw the UFO, I went, cool, because it was daytime. It was 8:30 in the morning. And I went home and I reported it to MUFON. And it was 10 days later that my first tall, creamy white Zeta that was taller than my doorway appeared in my room. And then 10 days after that, I woke up to 4 Zetas standing at the foot of my bed, and these were the Ponte variety of Zeta. Now, there's 2 varieties, to my knowledge, for sure, of the shorter stature Zetas. One has sharper features, and one has softer features. The sharper featured individual head shape is a little more angular. Sandia's crew, their head shape is a little softer, a little bit more rounded, a little smaller in face shape, and a little tinier chin, versus the other Zetas have a little stockier jawline. Met my now spouse back in 2012. We began to date, and I was he was in New Mexico. And so I came to his home for the first time in September 2013 during our dating. And I wasn't there 10 days. And I heard a voice. And haven't been in it for more than 2 decades. I knew it wasn't some disembodied spirit. I knew I wasn't making it up because it was too doggone clear, and it was directional. It came from a specific location that was not in my living room or my boyfriend's living room at the time. And when I first heard it, my head whipped around, and I looked out the window toward the mountain, and I went, who is that?
So you're breaking up a
figure it out.
little bit. So you're breaking up a little bit. I wonder if you should get a better signal. Go ahead, talk.
Is this better?
That's better, yes.
Okay. For a few days, and it comments about news. It comments on a conversation I just had with my then boyfriend, now spouse. It make random comments about all kinds of things. What's this? And I didn't know what was going on. I recognized the same individual tone in my head, so different wasn't multiple people. And so instead of just continuing to call it the voice from the mountain, I gave it from the Sandia Mountain on the east side of Albuquerque. Sandia sounded like a decent enough name to me. I knew enough Spanish to know that Sandia means watermelon. And the mountain's named that because there's stripes on the top of it, like a watermelon. But when I gave the voice from the mountain a nickname, and I called it Sandia, he piped up immediately and he said, "Watermelon head, that'll work." And I went, "What?" And I couldn't figure out what he was talking about. And I figured, I figured this guy had a kind of a quirky sense of humor, but I just kept talking to him, and when I left and went back home to Iowa, I stopped hearing the voice at that point in time. And whenever I returned to New Mexico, it started right up that very same day, and I'm just going, okay. And it wasn't until a couple of months later when he finally copped where he was from. And by that time, between being an experiencer and being in this paranormal field for more than 2 decades, I'd kind of put 2 and 2 together and figured it out. And so he started telling me things in detail. And I started writing them down. And I started pulling things together. And I'd been talking to him on and off for a year and a half. And finally, Boyfriend and I became a permanent item, decided we didn't need 2 houses. I moved to New Mexico the next summer.
Ooh.
So then I start hearing the voice every day, and I ask Otter, and I say, "Did you hear this voice from the mountain? You ever hear what I'm talking about?" And he went, "Oh, them." And I'm going, "You act like this is normal." He said, "I've been hearing them ever since I moved here. I just didn't even pay them any mind." And you have to keep in mind, Otter has been a shaman for about 30 years. And so to him, spirits and voices and things are normal. And so he really, truly meant it. He didn't pay him any mind. And I'm going, okay, but these guys are different. These guys say that they're not from here. And so I'd been talking to Sandia, and his real name is Tlkm, spelled Tlkm. No vowels. Almost no vowels in their language. Vowels and vowel sounds, they say, change too fast. And even in a single culture, you can get different pronunciation of vowel sounds. But when you see it written in just consonants, then everybody knows what it is, and everybody pronounces it the way they need to, and it works. So Tlkm didn't introduce Otter and I to Drudy and Radar until after he began teaching us the archeoplanetography in November of 14. And we got introduced to Drudy and Radar would have been February, March of 15. Something like that.
Now, what is archeoplanetography?
Archeoplanetography. Oh, big deal. Not a small thing. Okay, long story short, what we didn't know, what we had written off to what they call pareidolia. Pareidolia is looking at everyday objects and creating a face out of it, okay? So, for instance, if you look at your dresser, you might have 2 handles and a keyhole for where an old-fashioned key would fit in to lock a drawer. You know, 2 eyes and a nose. All right, that's pareidolia. What Sandia began to teach me is that when you look at our planet from orbit, what they look for are the images, faces, species, star nations, history, storage locations, libraries, catch depots, ore and precious mineral stores, and other things are all marked in plain sight. And I went, say what?
They're written on the land.
They are written in imagery on the land. And what he taught us is that if you look, you will find that a great deal of the landscape is made up of imagery as if somebody created a mural. And when you descend in orbit, the larger images fuzz out of focus, and more detailed, sharper, smaller images at a lower altitude orbit begin to emerge and stand out. If you keep descending in orbit, those images phase out, and other new, smaller, more detailed images phase in. And if you traverse forward, as in, well, let's say I'm 100 miles above the landscape and I start cruising north, you begin reading the images as you travel. But all of these images in the landscape have been here for forever. It's a system that was pre-designed. And
by the builders.
He's been teaching us, by the builders. And they have been teaching us the system. And what Tlkm said is, this is our gift to you for your official first contact. We wish to teach you how to understand the study of not only your world and your moon, but if you notice, you will find archeoplanetography images covering Mars, and all the other planets. Tlkm told us it's on every planet, around every star, in every system that they have ever been to in 16 million years.
So I just
and if we understand... go ahead.
And they spent the whole time looking at the archeoplanetography of Mars and the Moon and had a lot of interesting pictures. But it seems like they're also finding signs of life, that are existing, especially on Mars, that there's extraterrestrials on the Moon as well. So it's deeper.
But Tlkm taught us how to figure out where the bases already are.
Right. So tell us about that.
They're marked. Resources are marked. If you want to go find gold on this planet, you go look for the symbol in the landscape. If you want to go find diamonds, you go look for the symbol in the landscape. If you want to go find what your buddies left, in the cat supply depot, in case your favorite food is there. The depots and the cat supply storage locations are marked in the landscape. And so learning how to understand how to not only see that the archeoplanetography imagery is real, but how to understand the murals that you're looking at. It's kind of like if I hand you a photograph of, let's say, President Trump shaking hands with the President of France. Unless you know Trump and the President of France, all you see are two people with their hands clasped together. If you have no cultural reference and are not from this planet, you do not know if that symbolic message of them touching hands is giving food, having sex, in conflict, in friendship. You don't know. It's not your culture.
Right.
So the archeoplanetography system was designed to work by visual imagery that is almost universal in nature, so that you don't have to speak someone else's language to understand their planet. Does that make sense?
Yes. So, what is the culture like of the Pinto? What is your culture?
Ponti is what you refer. It would be like us saying we are Earthlings. They are Ponti.
Right.
Their planet is Puntel, and it's actually more like a Puntel. It's like a lip flap. Yeah. When you do the P, that's what the apostrophe is. The apostrophe for them in their dialect is a lip flap. Poof. When you pronounce the P. So we don't futz with it. We just say Puntel, or they are the Ponti. What are they like? Golly.
Yes.
Funny, intelligent, interesting, generous, motivated, kind, hardworking, full of their own interests, eager to learn, eager to teach. And I've found that the four that I've interacted with are very nice.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
How's their culture organized? We have a story of the planet Serpo and the Zeta species that went to Serpo with the human ambassadors under Kennedy, and so they had a culture that was very organized. But what is the culture like on
Pontel? On Pontel, it's well. First of all, they focus on making sure that everyone's food, clothing, shelter, medicine needs are met. Okay. That's a given. That's how you get to advanced civilization level 0, by the way, and we are not there.
Right. We need to have
educational. Everyone gets tested when they are younger for their natural innate mental inclinations, in other words, what their brain is good at, as compared to what their spiritual, emotional desire to learn, do, and accomplish are.
Wow, that sounds like Plato's Republic.
Phases. Well, they kind of have phases of life. It's almost like about every 75 years is a new turning point, if you will. And their average age is 400. They can stretch it to 450 with good health. But, for instance, Radar's in his 50s. He hasn't even hit his first reassessment age. Reassessing is the redetermination of, okay, for the next 75 years, what do I want to focus on? Okay?
Right now, he's still James Dean.
Kind of, yeah. They yanked him out of school before he even finished, specifically to come work this mission.
Oh. So was he drafted, or did he go voluntarily?
Oh, no. Tlkm offered him a really good deal, and he hopped at it.
So they don't have money.
They don't have money? Oh, no, there's currency. Oh, no, most definitely there's currency, because not everyone everywhere at any given point in time can accomplish a trade without it. And so do they futz with it with everything? No. But is it a quick, easy trade when nothing else works? Yeah. No, they understand currency.
Okay. Well, Alex Collier says when he spoke with the Andromedans that they don't really have currency. They have maybe credits or something. But nobody goes without, like you said. It's a basic minimum needs economy, and all the basic needs are met, and even some luxuries, So
yeah, they wouldn't. To be honest, they would not be here if they weren't at advanced civilization level 0. They would not be on our planet.
Well,
if they were not
level
meeting
0.
the food, clothing, shelters for their own people, they wouldn't be here.
We're level 0. Aren't they at least a level 1? What level
are they? No, we are not at level 0 yet. We do not provide food, clothing, shelter, and medicine for every person on our planet. We don't take care of our people. We're not even at 0 yet. Honest.
Okay. So, yeah, that was what Michio Kaku said. We're a level 0. But I've been saying recently we're a negative. We're a negative 1.
Yeah, no, you would be more correct. Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Okay, let me take a pause here and go around. I know that John Polk has some questions, and probably Kevin wants to add to this discussion. And we'll kind of go round robin here and ask you questions if you don't mind. And
that would be great. And John Polk, good evening, sir. Did not know you were on the line.
Surprise, surprise. How are you?
I'm glad to hear your voice.
So let's talk about the backstory. So I'll tell some of it.
Yeah.
How about let's bounce back and forth because the story is really fascinating. So I'll start.
It's a great story between you and Kevin and me, and we'll fill in all the pieces. Sounds like a plan.
So how about this? I'll start with some points, and then you fill in the blanks. And if you want, we can bounce back and forth. Okay.
Yeah.
So one day, or I think it's maybe 2 years ago now, we discovered each other on Twitter at Sandia Wisdom. And
yes.
I liked her tweets, and I felt, I was vibing with what was being said. When you read certain people's tweets or Facebook, some of it really feels good and correct to you, and some of it doesn't. But Sandia felt spot on and turned me on to the whole concept of archeoplanetography. Anyway, she told me that Sandia wanted her to communicate with me.
Yeah,
so
he asked me to poke you. Yes, he did.
Yeah. So we ended up having a conversation on the phone, and then I find out that you live close to the Sandia mountain range, where there's perhaps even a joint military / Zeta ET base in the mountains, and that you could see craft from your property that's, not right there, but close enough to see the mountains. And I thought that was pretty fascinating. Anyway, I'll bounce it back to you then.
Well, let me clarify. First of all, there are two mountain ranges that are one at the north side of Interstate I-40 and then the other on the south side, where the Sandia National Laboratories and Kirtland Air Force Base are. It's not the Sandias. It's the Manzanos, okay?
Oh.
The Manzanos is where there's a very large gravel pit. Cement quarry, but a lot of digging back there and a lot of tunneling back there. And what my friends, the Sandia Mountain Gang, have a complex that's part of the old ancient tunnel system that runs from the Sandia Mountains all the way up toward Denver and then all the way down through the Manzano Mountains. And I suspect, I don't know, but I suspect that the Sandia National Labs folks and the Kirtland Air Force Base folks figured out part of the Manzano piece of the old tunnel system. But there was a collapse between the Sandias and the Manzanos. To my knowledge, they do not have a means of getting north to the Sandia complex, at least not yet. So that's the piece that I know.
So that evening, after talking to her, we probably talked over an hour, and I was really just listening, and she was talking more than I was talking. I just wanted to absorb all this because it was all new information to me. And you could feel that stream of consciousness just passing right through Sue, through the phone, into me. Because one thing as an empath that I try to do and do is I try to tune into the loving, benevolent extra-dimensionals, extraterrestrials, ultra-terrestrials, etc., that we communicate with on the Aquarian radio network, my radio network, and just even on phone conversations. So that night, I can't be positive, but I'm pretty positive. I was abducted, and then I wake up in my bathtub, and the water was cold. I woke up in my bathtub, and the water was cold. The drain was not plugged. So how long was I in my bathtub before I woke up? I would think maybe an hour or longer. And I asked her, why was I in the bathtub? Do you remember the answer that she gave me, which made total sense to me?
I don't remember if you got dipped and you were getting the dip washed off.
That's exactly what you said.
Was
it?
Exactly okay, because that was the image that you came from the ship still covered in that nutrient dip, that medicinal dip.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same kind of dip that they do for themselves to stay healthy. Somebody asked, how do you ward off colds and bacteria and viruses? Well, they take a nutrient dip. It's an immune system boosting, absorbed through the skin. And if they see one of us that needs a little fixing and could use a dip, they'll just immerse you for a little bit and, shake you off and send you back home. Well, sometimes it's not dry. And so whoever delivered you back home probably went, oh, crap, the dip. And they went, bathtub, there's a bathtub, look, run the water. And they probably didn't know to plug the drain.
So the water came up to my ears. It was like 3 or 3:30 in the morning. The water came up to my ears, and I woke up, and I'm like, what on earth happened here tonight? I immediately figured, I was taken. Now, could I have drowned? And that's the first thing that entered my mind. And then I realized, no, they were not going to let me drown.
Nah.
They deliberately did what they did to wake me up when they did. They wanted to cleanse my whole body as much as possible. And when it hit like my earlobes, then all of a sudden, I fell from the plateau of subconsciousness and woke up. And
nothing like cold water in the ears. Oh, what a rude awakening.
I called Sue the next day, and we talked about it, and I was like, I basically was baptized by the Zetas. It was great. It was great, man.
That's the first Star Nation baptism I think I've ever heard of.
That's hilarious.
Not the first dip, but the first time it's been referred to as baptism. That is great.
Yeah, so
baptized by radar.
Short of the story. Oh, it was radar that did it?
Probably. That'd be my first guess. As I've told Kevin and some other people, the Star Nation gossip vine is alive and well. Drudy knows everybody because their facility is the information facility for the northern and western hemisphere coming and going. So if somebody hasn't been here or not know where their team is, or where it's the last place they checked in, they check in with the Sandia Mountain crew, and whoever's on duty, Drudy, if it's nighttime, and that's when the most traffic is. And so, like anybody, if they're waiting in line to do whatever, she chats them up. She knows their family. She knows their kids. She does. And so cool. My guess is and she listens in on my conversations, and afterwards, she says, especially if Tlkm says, hey, poke this guy, ping this person. Would you tweet this person? We need to talk to them. And they've done that to a half a dozen individuals, tops. And you were the first one, if I remember right, John.
Wow.
And so,
what an honor.
So
Unbelievable.
I'm sure that Tlkm said to Drudy, hey, go check on this guy. And Drudy probably turned to Radar and said, Radar, what are you doing? You got a moment? And it doesn't take very long to get from here to where you are. Let me tell you. It doesn't take them very long at all. So who knows how long they waited? Probably not terribly long. But my suspicion is when they want to check somebody out to make sure that they are who I think they are or what they sound like, they go visit in person. And so you were visited.
I know that I was.
Me?
And
just wait. You know what we say among experiences when you see a... Say again?
I think Kevin wanted to say something. What did you want to say, Kevin?
When are they going to pick me up?
Oh.
Sue, have they picked him up already?
Are you okay, Sue?
Excuse me. Yeah, I have allergies, and right about 5, 6 o'clock, some pollen has been popping this last week and stuffs up my sinuses, so that's what's going on.
Okay.
Have they visited Kevin yet? I know they know where he lives. I know that they have pinged him. I know that they have kept track of him. I know that Teeny has said that she wants to get him back into his music writing again and teach him about going out to sit on the edge of the black. And as far as I can tell, Rudy says he's in the queue, meaning he's on the list to get visited. So I think that's where it sits, too.
Are these Sandia ones the ones that have visited me, or is this in another group? Who visited Janet?
I don't know. I don't know. Where is home for you?
Well, I grew up in Pittsburgh, but right now I'm in Maui, Hawaii, and I've had visitations all my life.
Well, my guess is they know. My guess is you're probably visited by some of the folks that do the aquatic research out your way. I'm not going to deny that they might. Well, okay, 75% of this planet is water, and 75% of the star nations come here to do their work and visit the oceans, not us.
Right.
And so my guess is because of your location, it would be more natural for anybody who's on their way to do some aquatic research to go, hey, let's go check out Janet. And
well, they've got recently their ships visit me. Like the ships will come and I'll say, well, who's on board? And they say, nobody. It's just the ship. And I go, okay. I have this conversation. with the ship. And apparently they're conscious. You know, these ships are conscious, and they're curious. Yeah.
Cool.
And I woke up, let's see, what was it? About a month and a half ago, and I had a Zeta standing right beside my bed, and we had this long telepathic conversation. But at first, because he didn't want me to, and I thought it was male, didn't want to freak me out, it looked like this owl standing at my bed, and I know owls are freaking me, and I wake up and I'm looking right at it, and I go, "What's this big giant owl standing in my room?" Then, but I had no fear anymore. I have zero fear. In fact, I came in and I was still connected to the other, to the higher realms and stuff like that. So they somehow screwed up with the veil of forgetfulness for me. So I came in connected to everybody. And at 18 months, they had to shut it off because I was saying things to my mother, and my mother thought I was a demon seed that was trying to kill me. So for my own protection, they had. God. But I'm so grateful to the Zeta people, and I'm not sure if it's the same group. Maybe you can ask them. Who's been visiting literally all my life since the crib, because I had a crazy mother. She's no longer with us. And they were protecting me from her the best they could.
Well,
anyway,
and I think you said it best, that they recognized the potential. They recognized the connectivity, if you will, the ability to connect. And what I've gathered is when they see folks that they recognize have that right-minded potential, or walking that talk like you are now, that is so wonderful to find, that it's like finding a unique flower in a patch of weeds. And they want to nurture it. They want it to be beautiful. They want it to thrive. And more than likely, your visitors are there because they recognize that and want you to thrive.
Well, here's a question for you, Stu.
I also love fight. Very loved and supportive. But go ahead, John.
Oh, it's Kevin. Is that what do you call that? As Rudy says, a quality that she likes in a male is someone who can dance. Is that a quality that Star Nation females like in a human?
Well, sure, because if you're trying to walk in a right-minded way, your chances of being a happier person and having a positive ripple effect with those around you make you essentially, for lack of a better word, vibrate better, shine brighter. You stand out. Telepathically, you stand out. Because, remember, all telepathic information is on an emotional carrier wave. And so when the carrier wave ripple goes out, and so many people are going, yeah, that Kevin, he's nice. Yeah, that Kevin, he's a good guy. Yeah, he's done this. And, yeah, we heard this, and he did this, and da-da-da-da. And that ripple effect of positiveness makes telepathic nations go, really? Let's go check this out. Did you hear this? Maybe it's good. Let's go find out. And then they ping people. And they find out for themselves.
You mentioned that when we talked the other week, like saying that because like I had flattered Judy and then been talking with Judy and Tani, and then you said that something about other female Star Nations may want to be checking me out.
Depends on if you're an eligible bachelor.
I don't know.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But essentially, my take is once they see somebody that has attributes that they think are admirable, they start paying attention. And they start tracking with it. And sometimes that tracking is more intense and you get more experiences in a more condensed period of time. And then sometimes there's a break for a while. Why that is, I don't know. But it waxes and wanes but seems to be consistent for them amongst the Ponti. They refer to themselves of what they consider gardeners of intellect and right-mindedness. That's what they term themselves, gardeners. I thought that was a unique way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
But they enjoy our humans. Go ahead. What's your other question?
Are they, because we brought this up in the conversation from our last show, are they, what's the word, polyamorous, or do they stay with one mate their entire life? What is their culture like that way?
As far as I can see, the choice to stay with one mate is theirs, and some do. But that every 75-year new reinvestment into what are you doing next frequently sees the parting of ways of couples if they feel mutually as if they have accomplished what they set out to accomplish with each other. Does that make sense? And then they allow each other the choice to move on together, to do the next 75 years together and re-up the contract, or decide to part ways, to go their various ways. And so as far as I can see, the mating is 2, not many. It's not, I'm not seeing indications, at least amongst the staff that I've encountered, that they're taking, say, more than one mate, either male or female. That isn't to say that on their planet, their entire planet has the same culture. I doubt it. Ours doesn't. So could various segments of their population be that way? Possibly. I don't know.
What's with the breeding program?
What breeding program?
With humans.
What breeding program? Whose?
The one that people have been talking about for the last 40, 50 years, that the certain Zeta species is creating hybrids.
Okay.
What do you know about?
All right. So here's what I can tell you is that when you travel across the galaxy to a new planet that is almost right for your body type, but not quite.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier if you combine your genetics with the local populace so that your people can survive on that world.
Right.
Okay. So are they also trying to help us? Probably. But my understanding is in order to do any kind of long-term work on a world, the genetics have to match the physiology. How can I phrase this? All right. Let's go back to the vibration of the Earth. The Earth has its own Schumann resonance, its own vibration, okay? Pontel has a different vibration. Mars has a different vibration. Venus has a different vibration. Different size, different mass, different gravitational field, different atmosphere, different amount of water, different vibe. When they come here for extended periods of time, it shortens their lifespan because it's hard on their bodies. It's hard on their organs. It's not their planet of origin. Can they compensate some with gravitation within the facility? Sure. But ultimately, it still is not the same resonance as their home planet. And so in order to stay on any one world, to do generations and generations and generations and generations of work, sometimes it's easiest to combine genetics with the closest local human populace and see if together you can accomplish what neither could accomplish separately. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have no problem with the breeding program. I think it's, survival and diversification of species, that all species are equal in the eyes of Source, And this genetics is so, the highline said, our DNA doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the universe. And
yeah,
so
we're
like
pretty much Heinz 57s, yeah.
Great. So, anyway.
Yeah, we're not purebreds, and so we're already combined and hybrids, in a sense.
I think it's
So
a good thing. It creates hybrid vigor. It creates diversification, distance, and hybrid vigor. It creates stronger species, stronger forms, better forms for us to incarnate in. And, so I don't see it as a bad thing. The fact that if you don't diversify enough, you lose, hybrid
That's
vigor.
right, you do.
Start
That's exactly right. And there's more kinds of human species out there in this galaxy than you can possibly imagine.
Right. I'm going to go get a cup of tea. You guys keep talking. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I'm really
sure.
doing it. Go ahead and pass the ball around. I'll be listening.
So, hey, Sue, I remember it was maybe 2 years ago or so, and remember I said I was trying to get you on a radio show? Well, this is the show.
Yes,
I do. This is the show. It's Janet's show on Aquarian Radio. And I remember you're like, well, let me communicate, and you're like, it's not time. Or let's say that is the information you received. It's not time, and I totally understood it, and I respected it. I did have you in my back pocket. I was just giving you some time, pretty much.
I apologize. I didn't give you enough time. From them. Yeah, I was not understanding from them why, when you and I spoke, John, they wanted more time, but we hadn't been completely. We still aren't completely, but we hadn't been introduced to as much of the archeoplanetography design system then as we are now. We hadn't started the telepathy course book and workbook, and Teeny was brought on board by Tlkm and thrown in our direction specifically to dictate that piece and begin that instruction, because they consider the lack of telepathic understanding now kind of a hindrance, and are frustrated and need a few people that can help aid them as translators.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I remember, what's the name of your website again?
Oh, mine is either psychicmedicalintuitive.com or SueWalker.com, and just do not put an E on Sue.
Okay, yeah, I remember that SU, but the archeoplanetography, where you directed me somewhere online to look at it, not just on planet Earth.
Sandia.space. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Go to sandia.space.
And it was rather fascinating. I mean, let's start with North America. There was basically a tortoise, a monster turtle that is North America. So the Baja Peninsula is 1 foot, Florida is another foot. The body is contained within the contiguous 48, and then the head was, I think, north or close to the Great Lakes. And, when you started to look at it, you could see it. What'd you call it? Pareidolia? Pareidolia.
Pareidolia is taking everyday objects that do not form a face and making a face out of them. But when you actually see a face, and you know that's what you're seeing, it's not something that you're making up. And that's where people who are arguing that archeoplanetography is pareidolia, Well, all right, you try putting a photograph in the landscape and see how far it gets you. And see if you get any better result as they did. And you'll find that no, it's not pareidolia at all. It's a very, very complex, very organized system. And we're ready to leave our planet and head to Mars. Don't you think we ought to be able to read the landscape before we get there?
Right. So
I can guarantee you this isn't the kind of stuff they're teaching in school. You know, they're not teaching this in school. They're not teaching sacred geometry in school. They're not teaching the golden ratio. They're not teaching 432 hertz in school. Heaven forbid people wake up.
Understand? Well, we got to keep teaching our kids. We got to keep teaching the people that'll listen, and we got to keep showing them over and over. Hey, you know what? This is important. There are a few things in life that are really important. This is one of them. Don't forget this one.
So, Sue, I got a question for you. How does continental drift and the whole concept of Pangea play into archeoplanetography? So, theoretically, Pangea, all the landmass was just one big clump, and then it started to break off into pieces and formed a different continent over billions and perhaps billions of years. There's got to be some kind of applied science into archeoplanetography.
That's right. There sure is.
So explain that. I'm trying to understand that better.
All right. So all right. Let's back up. The original folks that designed our world designed it specifically with the exact size moon that we have, the exact percentage of salt water to fresh water, and landmass that we have. Okay? When this planet was designed, every world that is a living world that has an ongoing, ever-changing, ever-updating archeoplanetography system has images made several different ways. One, can a star nation come down and put their image in the landscape? Yeah, they can. Just like we can make a Nazca line. All right. Do they have the technology to do that? You bet they do. Are there other ways that archeoplanetography, ancient imagery, is maintained? Yes. You asked about the spreading of continents. What Tlkm has told us is that those dimensional beings that reside in the asthenosphere, lithosphere, beneath the mantle of our planet, are a greater connected consciousness than we give them credit for. Do they continue to maintain and update images from the deep earth coming upward? Yes. Are they the only dimensional beings that update the archeoplanetography kind of systems? Do they have to reside in the earth to do that? No. Because dimensional beings in the atmosphere that affect our weather systems also can use a weather system to affect an archeoplanetography image change. Can you have a flood create a landslide? Can you have an avalanche that changes an image and a mountain face? Sure. So are the images updated a variety of ways from deep within the earth as well as from above? Yes. Earth, air, fire, water all seem to have their influences. If you want to term all of those separate dimensional influences by different earth, air, fire, water kinds of focused beings, I suppose you could phrase it that way. I don't have all the words to describe these beings. I can tell you, I can draw them out because Tlkm has shown me. But how to put words to something that we don't have terms for in English has not always been easy. But essentially, they refer to the individuals in the Athena sphere, lithosphere, as kind of distant cousins of the dimensional beings that reside in the sun.
Wow, that's heavy.
That's as much as I can tell you.
Hey, Kevin, I wanted to ask you a question. From what I gather, and this is what I heard a number of years ago, is that pianos originally were tuned to 432 hertz, and I don't like using this term, but the powers that be found out that it had healing properties, and they changed the music industry to tune pianos and other instruments to a dissonant kind of hertz frequency. Is there any truth in that? Or because Michael Lee Hill
Absolutely.
and I had talked about that. I'm sure you know Michael Lee Hill because he speaks of this quite a bit.
Yeah, Michael Lee Hill and I are friends, and he and I have done several radio shows specifically on 432 hertz versus 440. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he and I have done many radio shows where he taught me, and I picked up the ball and learned more. But he's been my teacher, and I've learned a lot more about the importance of 432 hertz as a frequency of nature, as compared to the 440 hertz, which was doctored as the standard way of tuning, which is outside of it's a harmful frequency. It's outside of our natural A. I mean, natural A should be 432. They tune it up to 8 hertz to put it out of in a dissonant, and it's even shown in cymatics. I mean, it's music we listen to today is actually at a harmful frequency that puts the music kind of when you feel the music, it's almost like at a front headspace. But when you tune it to 432, that music channels right back down into your heart chakra, and you feel it in your heart chakra. But the importance of proper frequency has been shown in science. I mean, they've shown that that DNA gets activated at with certain frequencies. Science have been able to change tadpoles into frogs by frequency. There's many things that have been shown to be frequency. That things change with frequency. Even the experiencers who I have interviewed on my show, Sherry Wild, I was having a MSN Messenger conversation with her because she wasn't feeling well, and she was saying, "Geez, I wish I can go back to the healing chamber." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She says, "Well, on board the bigger craft, they have these chambers, these healing chambers. You go into them, and they will either resonate with a frequency or with a certain light spectrum color, and it realigns your body's natural healing ability, and you heal. You can heal yourself through frequency."
Yes.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that concept. Hey, Sarah Wild was supposed to speak at Contact in the Desert, and she did not. And what I heard, and I mean, please forgive me if I'm wrong, but I heard that she has cancer. And I know a lady that lives in L.A. Her name is Kimberly Meredith. Here's the story. She gets run over by a car in 2012. She dies. She comes back to life, and now she can walk out into a crowd and pick out somebody and go, "You have breast cancer stage 4." And then the lady will just completely just melt and start crying everywhere because Kimberly Meredith is completely correct. I mean, how do you do that? There's 300 people or whatever. She walks up to somebody, "You have stage 4 breast cancer." And she can literally reach into the person's body and remove the tumor. And she's just now starting to break on the scene. And the last week she's like, "Have you ever heard of some guy named Nori?" And I'm like, "Oh, my God, George Nori, Coast to Coast." Yeah. Yes. That is huge. But anyway, if you can reach out to her, another friend of mine has tried to reach out to her to get her in contact with Kimberly Meredith because this lady, when she passed over and came back, she brought back this incredible gift that is not hers. Of course, she's an instrument for the universal God consciousness healing energy. But if you know her personally, try and find a way to contact me so I can get her in touch with Kimberly Meredith. I think that she can actually help her.
I just got back. Are you talking about Cynthia Crawford?
No, Sherry Wild.
Oh, Sherry
Wild.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sherry
yeah, she was
Wild,
supposed to speak at Contact, and she didn't.
And then TJ's daughter also. who's getting a bone marrow transplant right now. She's kind of having a really rough time. So we have a lot of people, and TJ's daughter is a hybrid. They didn't know what to do with her blood type. It blew their minds. At the hospital, they said, we've never seen anybody's blood like yours. So I think they know, but they didn't really say it out loud because they pushed her to the top of the queue, so to speak, because her blood type is so strange, and they're kind of examining her like a guinea pig, like what is going on here with this blood type? Yeah. So
actually, Janet, I didn't realize you knew Cynthia Crawford. She's a friend of mine too.
Oh yeah, Cynthia. I've interviewed her a couple times. I've sat with her long weekends. We had a booth next to each other or behind each other or near each other. Yeah, she's part of the tribe. And I'm very sad that I think she wants to cross over. She says, I want to go home to the ship.
Yes, she does.
Back on the ship.
She wants to go back on the ships and work from the other side. Yeah, I'm very close to her.
Yeah, and TJ's husband died in 2015, and he said that, well, first of all, he was given the option to stay on the board ship and then he could live a long time. He said, no, I want to come back here and finish out my life and cross over. But when he passed, his sister and TJ both, he kind of took them to where he is, and he's in a like a cottage at the end of a meadow right by the forest, and he has a secretary, and they both saw it independently, and they go, well, we saw where Tom is, and then they described it, and it was right on. So I think there's a connection between the next realm and, the extraterrestrial presence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think the easiest way to explain that connection is and speaking as somebody who's died and come back, I know that when you do that crossing, the light, love, intensity that you hit is something that you just is so immense you don't have words for. You are suddenly fully plugged in to the entire collective consciousness. And it's kind of like looking out at a sea of grass, thousands of acres, and realizing every single blade of grass is a consciousness that you personally feel separate from every other blade of grass. It's just amazingly complex. And then when you come back into your body, that telepathic connection doesn't disconnect. So you're still plugged into the collective consciousness. And so are you able to communicate more easily with telepathic nations because of that? Well, sure. Sure, because that's where they get their information. And so telepath is telepath is telepath. I think that's how that works.
Right.
And Teeny and the group, they want to help me because I made a special request the other day because of already my connections to the collective consciousness and how I'm pulling it through my music that I want to continue to develop my telepathy so that then they said they're actually going to be able to teach me how to create from the telepathy into my music and actually record it actually in a physical recording that I'll be communicating from a telepathic level through my music, not only just in sound but also telepathically. They're going to teach me how to do this.
Yeah, it starts with the intent behind the reason for the piece and then goes into the energetic telepathic projection. They call it projection solidification, and I don't have a better description than the idea of taking a concept that's a visual, emotional concept combined, or telepathic emotional concept combined and making it so that when it's experienced again, that the ripple begins again and keeps going. Does that make sense? So if you record it, the ripple stops with the recording until it's listened to, and then it carries on.
Okay, I'll have to learn. I'll have to learn.
Remember, time is not linear. That's your stopper. You're thinking in linear time.
Mm.
When you create like that, you create in the all-time.
I need Teeny's help with that. Yes.
We'll help you.
Yes.
It's taken me a little while to understand their complex telepathic system of politeness. I guess I'll say it that way. I think the rule of thumb is just because you can listen in on the party line doesn't make it right-minded to do so. And so what they've taught me is if a conversation telepathically is not intentionally meaning to be open or include you, that listening in on it or tuning into it is kind of not done, impolite, and sometimes dangerous. But at the same time, there are people that you become very close to that no matter where you are, when you are, what conversation they have, they stay kind of like an open channel to you. And so at any time of the day or night, you might hear what's going on. And so, but telepathic societies are extremely polite societies at their core. You got a lot of minds interacting all together. Everybody hears what everybody else is doing, thinking, intending, and so you got to mind your P's and Q's. That said, do they let their hair down with each other? They do. They do. They let their hair down with each other, but you can understand why it is.
Could I say something?
Sure.
Because that time last week ago when I said, okay, because Radar teased me about my T-shirts, and I said, okay, that's fine. I know 4 better Zeta models. So would you like me to make a T-shirt with you guys on it? And they said yes, and I said okay, but I want you to come up with the caption. And then I was thinking, okay, I know what the caption should be. The caption should be "We're here." And I was thinking, I'll bet Radar is going to come up with it. And no more than 5 minutes later, the tweet came up, bracket, "We're here, Radar." And I'm like, oh my God. And I said, that's so amazing. That was just what I was thinking. And I said, I thought it would be you too, Radar, who would come up with it. And he laughs at me. He puts a bracket parentheses with utter look of shock. You mean, gasp, telepathy works?
Who knew?
God. Who knew?
Who knew? Right. Teeny is always given, and in fact, Otter and I now have a standard line when we read each other. It's I'll come into the house and he'll say exactly what I was coming into the house to ask him. And I'll look at him and go, so telepathy works. Who knew? And we laugh. It's standard now. And the back and forth, giving each other grief between us and the gang in the mountain is on such a regular basis. It's like having invisible friends in your living room, commenting on the show that you're watching, teasing you about what you forgot or did or didn't do that day, kibitzing about the news or whatever, keeping an eye on the sky, giving us a heads up if something weird is going on. It's all kinds of stuff. And we just never know what they're going to say. That's the fun part. It's been an utter delight getting to know these people. It really has been. And I cannot say that they have ever intentionally tried to steer us wrong or lie to us or tell us a half-truth in any way, shape, or form. I have never detected any malintent on any of their parts. And so I've come to call them my friends, because that's what they are now.
Are they listening in right now? Are you connected to them right now?
Tlkm's gone, but everybody else is over there, and Radar's jumping up and down on his stool.
Radar.
Hi, Radar.
I'm not kidding. They're excited. Well, Radar wants his own T-shirt. He was jealous today because somebody else posted a picture of Teeny in a rainbow color with a quote, and he was going, "Wait, where's mine?" And he was waiting all day for somebody to come up with his image and some kind of a fun caption too. And so he's just chomping at the bit. He wants to be famous.
What's that?
He wants to be famous. Trudy's over there with a hand over one eye going, "Oh, come on, please. Radar, you didn't just say
that." Radar, I'll make you famous. Trust me.
Be careful. Be very careful what you wish for. It's Radar.
Oh, I know. I know exactly who I'm talking to.
Every once in a while, we have somebody on Twitter can find our name and phone number and give a call. And the last fella that did that called up and said, I'd like to speak to the great and powerful Roz, please. I'm going, okay. All right. Obviously, we have a Twitter follower here. And so Radar loves the attention. He's just a big kid. He's just a big motorhead. Oh, my God. And so he's learned to express emotion via the movies and garner more interest with his media quotes and love as well as his dancing than just about any ET I ever could have imagined. Oh, I was going to tell you, totally forgot this until you and I got off the phone the other day, Kevin. One of my dear friends in Iowa was a woman who ran the Iowa Mutual UFO Network group for decades, and her name is Bev Trout. Bev is a dear lady who's in her 80s now. Spry, fabulous, and to stay in shape, she went dancing. She was a single gal. Her spouse is either divorced or died, I don't know, but she's been single for a long time. And so when she wanted to go have fun, she'd take herself out and she'd go dancing. Well, she'd been an experiencer her whole life. And one night they pick her up, and she gets on board a ship, and here's 30 of them standing in 3 lines. And the individual who brought her on the ship said, they want you to teach them to line dance.
No way.
It was when, I am not kidding, they wanted to learn line dancing, like Texas two-step sort of movies. John Travolta had come out with something, and so Texas two-step and line dancing had come back into popularity, and they'd heard about it, and they thought that they could figure it out. And so they knew Bev, and she'd been an experiencer with them for decades, and so they brought her up on board ship specifically to teach 30 Zetas how to line dance. I kid you not.
That's amazing.
You can call her up and ask her. So it was not an unheard of precedent when Drudy said, hey, Radar, girls like guys that can dance, and he went, done, I can do that. And bless his heart, the young man has stepped it up and is getting pretty doggone good. He can
do the moonwalk. I heard he's like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he can. He's been learning from Fred Astaire, and he had to ask me something about crumping. And I said, I think I know what you mean. Here, let's have you look at some YouTube videos. I don't think I want to describe crumping. So, anyway, it's different kinds of dance, and now they're branching out because the focus here has been on northern western hemisphere. He's gone through a lot of the dances from the northern and western hemispheres. But, for instance, dances from Africa, he doesn't have a clue yet. So he's branching out. I have no idea what he's going to come up with next. I have no idea. His costume closet is getting larger.
Does he break dance?
I don't know. I've never asked him. Radar, do you
break dance?
Yeah. Easy.
Oh, I got to see that. Easy, yeah, right. How can you spit on your head, dude?
You forget he gets to practice with no gravity.
Oh, you cheat.
You should have heard
string you up by your toes, buddy.
The first time he came back from one of his friends' meetings with the Big Brother Sasquatch up in the Valles Caldera, which is about 75 minutes drive from here, but a hop, skip, and a jump in his skippership. When
Delta Dawn.
He went to their first big full moon meeting, they had what they call a stomp and growl.
Yes.
Yeah, you can it's exactly what it sounds like. It's how many big brothers can you picture stomping on the ground simultaneously, and how loud can they get? It's a stomp and growl.
Depends how much chokeweed they have.
And how much anchovy pizza. You got it. You got it.
Chokeweed, man.
Hey, can you ask
that story.
If they know rock? Can you ask your Zeta friends if they know rock? John Tyler, the second I interviewed him a couple times, and he says that rock comes. He works with rock in Dulce and Area 51, and now he's retired. But rock comes down and comes in and eats what does he eat? Pizza or something like that, or
probably.
He likes, and he comes out and watches. He likes to watch sports with John Tyler.
That doesn't surprise me.
Like this, real friendly. They're real friendly.
Yeah, if he's one of the really friendly Zetas, then he's likely the Pontel variety instead of the slightly taller, more stockier chin variety, because they're not as emotive to Earth humans. They are with each other, but not with us. The Ponti don't seem to have a problem talking to us about their emotions. And in fact, Tlkm seems to be encouraging it because it seems to be garnering like-mindedness. When they share their emotions and they resonate with Earth humans here, that like-minded generation ripple effect is exactly what they're looking for.
Well, they had me in tears this morning.
Did they? I'm sorry.
No, it was good.
They meant to. Okay.
It was good that they actually, when they responded and said that they knew what was bothering me, like that touched me in such a way I can't even express.
Yeah, no, they got it. They got it. Judy wanted to reach out and just hug you.
I'm right here if I could really use it.
Yeah, I get you. What else you got for questions, Janet?
Oh, geez, I'm enjoying the conversation. Let's see. Well, okay, we're going to ask more questions. We got about half an hour.
Okay.
So, for myself personally, I was really curious about this lady who was working with me when I had an interesting phenomenon. In 2013, I was at the International UFO Congress, and I was at the bathroom. So I get up to go to the bathroom. and I looked up by the smoke detector, and there is a Zeta, and it's like a bubble being projected into the room, and he's in the bubble, and he's saying goodbye. He's saying goodbye. And he says he's leaving this realm. He's been my guardian my entire life, watching over. He wanted to apologize for the times that he frightened me. His intention was never to harm or frighten me in any way, but very loving. But I just wondered if your Zeta's new, my Zeta, I never got a name because they don't, they don't really operate on names so much as like we do. Anyway,
and likely Drudy knows him, and likely he stayed over at the complex and checked in. Clearly his reports come through their complex, but exactly who that would be. Drudy, do you have any idea who was in Hawaii area in 13? Were you in Hawaii then? Were you in Arizona then?
I was on a military base working as a civilian in 1995 to 97. It's just about a year and a half. And I was picked up by 6 Zetas and carried to the underground installation where I interacted with the military and the taller. It was the real short ones, the ones that are about 5 foot. And the real tall ones kind of look like a mantis gray hybrid. I don't like to say gray, but mantis gray, a hybrid, real tall.
There you go.
And then it was very interesting. They directed me telepathically, but it wasn't really words, it was concepts, to go over to the area of the facility. There was a beautiful gown waiting for me, kind of like a medieval green dress, and very fancy shoes, and the bodice was full of gems that were in the fabric. I don't know how they did it. It was something I've never seen before. There were gems in the shoes, and when I donned the shoes, it helped me walk. So I was soon to find out why I needed to walk better. It's because I was accompanied by very tall beings, and I'm 5'2". So every step I took, and so I slowly took to keep up.
3 steps for their one, right? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They took me and they showed me. There was a wall, a giant black wall, and I stood in a light, and it disintegrated, and behind it was a dragon, a huge, beautiful dragon that was, made us look like the size of a mouse compared to this dragon. And the dragon communicated through me to everybody there. There were about 1,000 tall, Anunnaki tall whites, and the dragon said that even though we all look different, we're all one, we're all family, we're all related, we all have DNA connecting us, and so it was a very beautiful experience. Anyway, what are your thoughts or comments on that?
Dragons are real?
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw one, yes.
If you look in the archeoplanetography images of Asia, Asia is full of reptilians, saurons, and dragons. Full.
Oh, wow.
More than any other continent. And the message that they gave you, that we're all related, that Matakiase would be the Lakota. Matakiase is the abbreviation or the short version. But the translation, we are all related, we are all family, is the message that they got from the stars, from White Buffalo Calf Woman. And it is the same message that Sandia tells us, the same message that you got. All of our DNA is related. Don't look upon each other as alien or other. We're just cousins. It's cousins we haven't met yet. Now, can you trust every cousin you ever will meet? No. But you judge every individual you meet as a separate individual. We can't judge whole planets by 4 individuals. That wouldn't be fair to that planet. Just like if 4 of us went to their planet, we wouldn't want them to judge all of Earth on us, you know. Same concept. Please understand, they have complex cultures. They are in many worlds. They've been exploring the galaxy for 16 million years. But they're not the oldest nation out there by any stretch of the imagination. There are nations out there that have been exploring for billions of years before our galaxy was created even. There are nations out there that have been exploring that long. And so when they say it's a good idea to be polite when you meet somebody new that's not from here, they mean it. They really
right.
Telepathically say hello and introduce yourself. Go ahead.
What do you think of the story of by Lawrence Spencer of Errol the Zeta that was captured at Roswell and interviewed by the nurse? There's a whole big book about it and a bunch of YouTubes. And then at one point, Errol left her avatar. And she said later to the nurse, she says, "Oh, don't mourn for me. That wasn't my real form. I projected myself into an avatar to come down to communicate with you." Are you familiar with that story, and what do you think about it?
Not. This is the first time I've heard of that. So I without knowing anything about it at all, I am not familiar. I am familiar with a lot of the events at Roswell because I live in New Mexico, and the mutual UFO meetings that are here are full of retirees who used to work for the military. The MUFON meetings here are really fun because you hear things you aren't going to hear anywhere else about stuff like that. I have not heard that particular piece coming out of any of the retirees. Do I know that the Zetas are able to project an image that they wish you to see? Yeah, sure. Just like you got your giant owl. I was camping once with a group of friends, and in the middle of the night, a giant squirrel floated down from the sky and landed on top of one of the tents and slid down to the ground. And I looked at him and I said, "You are not a squirrel. Don't even try and pull that stuff." So, yeah, can they project an image? Yes, they can. So is it possible that that piece of the story is real? Sure it is. The rest of it, without knowing any more about it, I haven't heard anything about that particular story from the Sandia Mountain crew. So don't have anything else to comment on, I guess. Sorry.
Yeah, the book is called Alien Interview, and I highly recommend taking a look at it. Okay. Alien Interview by Lawrence Spencer. Yeah, so.
Neat. Awesome.
And next question. Who's got a question? We have.
I have a question.
What's your question?
Ahead.
I was going to ask Teeny, what color are your eyes?
Kind of a hazel with green flecks.
Oh my God, she has my color eyes.
Well, there you go. It's a good color
cool.
to have. Changes
How about
with your
Judy?
shirt. Judy's eyes are lighter. She's off talking to somebody. I don't want to interrupt her until she's done. She's got some incoming folks. We'll ask her in a second. Radar is brown. He's Mr. Lipid Pool, brown eyes. Yeah, lady killer eyes, right? Sure. You'd like to.
What did he say?
So. He said
lady killer.
Yeah, brown eyes. Like I said, if you sat here, you would hear them commit all night long. It's hilarious. And sometimes we just have to say, guys, carry on with the party. We're going to bed. Have a good time. Every once in a while they show up here. They don't always tell us when they're coming. they do usually tell us that they have to leave or something else is going on in the world. If we have family events or we're going to go somewhere and we're not going to need them for a few days, they go off and do their own thing. Every one of them has their own interests, fun things that they do in their off hours. And they don't always all go pal around together. You know, they have other friends at the complex and around the world that they do things with. But keep an eye on our planet.
Hey, I have a question for Kevin and Sue. Why do you think that radar abducted me? It seemed very positive and benevolent. I would invite it again. I feel like that it's happened more than once. I can just only definitively recall the one time, and I corroborated with you, Sue. But what about me? Because I get abducted a lot. I see UFOs a lot. You know, what is it? I mean, I can make educated guesses, but you know them better than I do.
I think radar did it because Tlkm requested it.
So it came from a higher authority.
Tlkm's the boss.
Okay, all right.
Radar's the pilot. Radar's the genius. Radar's the stellar cartographer. Radar's the media specialist. But Radar's the pilot. Sometimes the mechanic. But Tlkm would have told him that Tlkm was the one that said, John Polk, ping him. We want to talk to this man. And Tlkm would have been the one that would have said, let's go see if this guy is what he says he is. And let's check in and see how he's physically doing again.
Well, you know, I've been praying to them since we started this show, and the reason is when I was in contact in the desert, I started to lose my voice and get sick, and I never get sick. Never. Mm-hmm. I'm a Reiki master instructor, and I take pride in the fact that, you know, universal spirit energy, which is what Reiki means, you know, I know how to tap into it and heal myself and also heal others. I could feel myself getting sick, and whenever that happens, I go into a heavy-duty meditation mode, and I ask ascended masters to surround me and love me and heal me. And I know that it works because I hardly get sick, and I can feel my body trying to get sick now. So I have not a vaporizer, a humidifier. I'm breathing it in. Right. I'm doing the neti pot right now. I'm praying and meditating to reach out to them, you know, asking for maybe a nutrient dip tonight. And within this 2-hour show, I feel so much better. I had to put myself on mute. Yeah, I had to put myself on mute, and, you know, the neti pot can be kind of nasty, you know, doing it over the sink and clearing out my nasal passages, and my chest is full of, you know, colored phlegm. I don't want to get into too much detail. But I feel better. I'm not completely fixed, but I feel much better, and I would have to think that they are contributing to this transformation that has happened to me over the last, hour and 40 minutes?
Well, I think to be fair, the guys haven't left the complex, but Rudy did put you on the list. And if you requested a nutrient dip and they've got us for a few minutes and are over your way, they'll see if they can make that happen. But they do want you to stay healthy. I can tell you that. What I do know also is that there are people that they're keeping tabs on that are being positive mouthpieces, if I can say it that way. And those are the people that prep the planet for official first contact.
I missed that part. You kind of broke up.
And they prep for official first contact. I don't think they're going to want you to lose your voice, John. But
well, and I think
did they
also,
affect it over the last hour and a half? You may have opened up yourself to do that, but I'm not sure that I can say that they had any more direct effect with their positive thinking and thought process and putting good intentions out there for you, it would be like praying for you and saying, gee, let's send a message up to the universe. We'd like John to feel better. But they're one voice among many, and they don't claim to be any more powerful at that kind of long-distance healing, during this hour and a half than anybody else. I guess they're trying to be fair and say you can't ascribe that to us. You can ascribe that to your own ability to open up and receive it.
Yeah, I buy that because I can do it to myself. I mean, I can feel myself getting flu. I can feel myself getting the flu, and I not always, but for the most part, in the last 10 years, I've really only been sick once, and that was because I was with my girlfriend, and she's always sick. Always, something always with her. She's got kids, and they're little germs, and they get her sick, and then, I'm around her all the time, lay in the same bed with her, kiss her, and I don't get sick. So, and then I've got two gigs out by Disney World tomorrow outside, and last thing I want to do is be sick.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Well, can I put a request in?
Sure.
Yeah, please, Kevin.
Radar, if you're hearing me, I could really use a dip myself because I have suffered from pneumonia twice, and I got bronchitis a few weeks ago. My lungs are not good, and I've had chronic pain in my ankle for 9 years after I twisted it. So I'm just kind of putting it out. I'm here, buddy.
We'll make sure that everybody hears, and I know that Radar knows where Ontario is. So I think that's not out of the realm of possibility. He asked a question, and it was for guitar teacher. And he said, if you're our size and only have 4 fingers, is learning to play riffs out of the realm of possibility, or is there a workaround for us?
Oh, there's absolutely a workaround. Open tunings.
There?
Oh, yeah, open tunings. I could teach him how to rock out. If he wants to come here, I've got my Marshall stack. We'll set it up, and I'll teach him we'll do some open tunings and have him play in Tool.
Okay, he didn't follow all of what that was, but he's jumping up and down on the stool again. I think
Marshall
you got
stack.
Excited.
It's a big amplifier with a lot of distortion, and I've got
more power.
Great. What's that?
More power.
Oh, it's a 50-watt Marshall JCM 900 from the 80s. It's a monster. I'll never sell this amplifier, and I've got many guitars. My Les Paul is tuned to open tuning, so I could easily teach him how to play bar chords with one finger, and he can be rocking out.
So here's the deal. It's not exactly a thumb. It's another dexterous finger. It's not like 3 fingers and an opposable thumb. He's worried about holding the neck of the guitar. I kid you not.
If he comes over, I will work with him. I will work with him on it.
Are you hearing that? Can he wear his hat backwards?
He can do anything he wants, buddy.
Okay. Then you're good. Okay.
I will bring him, if he wants grape soda and sour cream onion chips, I'll make sure I bring that too.
Yeah, chips are good.
Okay, buddy.
Okay. I guess you guys got a date.
What's that?
I said, I guess you guys got a date.
All right.
Date
with Radar.
The first extraterrestrial date would have been a guitar lesson.
It's a guitar lesson. It's going to be awesome, man.
It might be in the middle of the night. Do not be surprised if the first one is in your dreams instead of in physical person.
Okay.
Get him used to it.
I can teach him.
Yeah, get him.
Can teach him.
If you walk him in there and say, dude, let's not do this in the dream. We got to do this. You got to get your hands on this thing. Let's do this right. you're going to just take control of the situation.
Well,
All
if
he
he
knows
wants to come,
is what he's been taught. He's been taught that you never, ever, ever create fear in any Earth human, even if they know you the first time they see you. They're probably going to be afraid. You don't want to do that. You don't scare them. And that's, if he scares somebody, he gets in all kinds of hot water, and so he's real cautious because he's the youngest.
Radar, I'm not afraid. I've been waiting for you guys to show up for the last 45 years. I'm trust me. Just
I'll tell
show
him.
up.
I'll tell him. Tlkm's away right now, so dude, you got a chance. Tlkm is not there right now. What happens in Ontario stays in Ontario, right?
Hey, here's a question for him. Does he know where I live? Has he seen my house?
That would be affirmative.
Okay, here's a question. What's in my backyard?
Dude, it's dark when I come down. I worry about the rooftop and the power lines. Are you kidding? I'm not looking at the bushes.
Oh, jeez. Nah, don't worry about it.
Basically, the concept is hover about 15 feet off of the edge of the roof line in invisible mode and come in either through the roof or through the wall, never through the door.
Okay. Yeah.
Usually if there's 2 floors, usually on a second floor. Don't ask me why. This is part of their standard. This is how they do things. I don't know. I don't make the rules. I don't know why they do.
I have a dog and a cat, just to let you know. But if you can keep everybody asleep, that's fine. Like the amplifier's on the first floor. And I can actually have it at a very low volume. It'll still rock out, though. Trust me.
Okay. Oh.
The Marshall
let you guys
stack,
do whatever it is you're going to do. I'm just turning it over to you guys. I'm stepping out of this date. This is between you guys.
That's fine.
Anything else you guys want to cover before we wrap stuff up tonight?
This has been amazing.
I
wanted to ask.
We can wrap it up. So, John, what would you like to say? Final round, final question.
I wanted to ask Kevin about Pyramids on Mars, the UFO radio show that you have. I'm curious about that.
Mm-hmm.
So just
anything,
tell us.
I was offered my own radio show about a year ago from Scott Zelenko from the ArtistFirst Network. At first, I thought he was asking me if he wanted to interview me, and then when I called him on the phone, he says, "No, do you want your own radio show?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And he said, "Look, we've built up this following. Riley Martin used to be the guy who used to do their radio show, and they built it up to like this 100,000 listener per episode following. And then what happened was that he got so popular that Howard Stern ended up buying Riley Martin's show and moved him to Sirius XM. But they still had this massive following on the ArtistFirst Network. He says, "We'll get you a show in there, and the show is going to start. It'll build, And so I decided, that's great because following in the footsteps of the foundation from Grant Cameron, because he said, if you want to know what's really going on, you need to talk to the experiencers. The experiencers need a voice. Yeah. And that was why I said I'm dedicating my show to the experiencers and to the hybrids, because they need to talk. They need to be heard. And my show is built up. I know it's up to now about 6,000 listeners a show, and it's still growing. So, and I know that's going to continue to grow this year because I have a very special guest next month. Things are really ramping up very quickly. But my show is dedicated to the experiencers and hybrids.
Excellent.
What night is it? What night is it? What time?
Yeah, and how do we tune in?
Oh, it's all podcasts are available for download at any time. if you go to artistfirst.com, and you'll see the, in the section there of the shows, Pyramids on Mars, UFO Radio. Just click on it, and then there's about 9. I've done 9 shows, so you can just right-click on any one and download a podcast. The show is taped live the first Tuesday of every month at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, excellent. Hey, I dropped you a message through Twitter, not through my name. What stinks? My handle at Reverend Polk. I can't follow anybody else. I've been blocked from following anybody because I'm following too many people. That's the reason that they're giving me. So I try to follow people, or I do follow people through at QH Matrix. So whenever you have a chance, just look at your messages and
okay.
I message you some things, Kevin. So just whenever you have some time, that'd be great.
What's the limit? How many people follow on Twitter? I didn't know there was a limit.
Well, I said there is. There's a 2,000 follower limit until you have a certain number of followers back. I suggest you go and unfollow a whole bunch of people who are not following you back. Okay?
Right.
I do this.
Yeah.
I do this professionally. I'm up to 93,000 Twitter followers now, and I get 100 new followers every day. Yeah.
Great.
Wow.
I'm going to teach Sue how to do this too. Huh?
Yeah, because the gang doesn't know, and I don't know.
You said you have 90,000 followers or something, and you get something every day. What's that?
93,000 Twitter followers.
Yeah, 93.2. Yes, but I'm looking at it right now.
Wow.
And what do you get
I know.
What do you get by having that many people?
A whole lot of
free
PR.
What I do is I learned quickly. I follow 1,000 new people every day, and I unfollow 1,000 people who are not following me back. I've been doing this every day for the last 3 years.
Wow.
So how long do you get them to follow you back?
Well, I'll get into more details in regards to like the mechanics of how to do it. But usually, I'll give them at least a week to follow me back. If they haven't followed me back in a week's time, I'll unfollow them. Okay? So who is it that you want people? Who do you want people? Like, who do you follow? Well, you got to think about your audience. Say for Sandia, you're going to go to websites that people are looking for information on extraterrestrials.
Right.
And you'll go and you follow their followers. So let's say if it's, for example, it's Alien Expo. Okay, you go to Alien Expo, you click on the bottom, the button that says followers, and you'll see all their followers, and then you just start following them, and they're going to follow you back.
Wow.
So you have to ask yourself, who's my target audience? Where am I going to find my target audience? You go to them, and then you click on their followers, and you start following them. Okay, you give them a week. If they don't follow you back, you unfollow them. Every day. You do this. Take 20 minutes every day and do this. It's like I call it when my kids are asking me, "Daddy, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm brushing my teeth." "Oh, he's doing his Twitter again."
They know what you're doing.
Followers. So I need to go to Alien Expo, which I was at Alien. I presented at Alien Expo. Let's see that.
Well, that's just an example. I mean, you have to use your own discretion and figure out where am I going to find my followers. So obviously, it's going to be other UFO radio talk shows. So go, make a list of of ones that you think would be good to follow, and then or follow whoever those people are. And then you go and you just start following their followers. I mean, for example, myself, I'm an instrumental guitar player, so I sound like Joe Satriani. So I go and I start following Satriani's followers. I go and I start following Steve Vai's followers. Actually, a lot of my best followers are actually Metallica fans. Those are my hardcore. Yeah, and I'm fine now. I'm following all of Sandia the ET's followers because I'm eventually going to be selling their T-shirts. So I want them to see, hey, let's get this Hungry Monkey thing going. You guys come out and buy these T-shirts, and we're going to show, hey, check out Sandia. They're here.
Right, they're here. And we have to come up with a caption for radars. I have no idea.
Right, for his own T-shirt, because I will make a T-shirt just specifically of him, but he's got to come up with the caption.
Oh,
he's not going to pick my brain for this one. I would.
Well, he was hoping you would come up with one.
Oh, so he can steal it.
Might be as simple as "Rock On, Dude," with him with the guitar in his hands. You just never know.
That would be cool. Yeah, actually, yeah. Get him over here.
Actually.
I'll get him to hold the guitar. We'll take a picture of him, and then we'll send the picture to you. You can do a drawing of it, and then that'll be his T-shirt. What do you think about that idea?
Oh, Lordy. Oh, my God. Oh, you're encouraging this young man. Please be careful. Please be
Does
very
he like
careful.
the idea?
Yes. Yes. I have another drawing assignment already.
I think it'd be awesome. It'd be so cool.
We'll work on it. It'll be June before we can get to this one, but we'll work on it. Yes.
What hat is he going to wear? He's got to think about that one.
You guys both picked up on the same thing at the same time because I was just saying, yes, you can wear your topper. He has a top hat.
Cool.
And you said,
hey.
you picked up on what hat is he going to wear right at the same time. He was thinking about what hat should I wear, and he asked, should I wear my topper? And I said, yes, you can wear your topper. That'll work.
And so that would look good with my Les Paul.
Telepathy works. Who knew?
Who knew? Hey, it would actually work really well with my Les Paul because that's almost kind of like the Slash look, the top hat with the Les Paul.
That
would look really good.
That would look good.
Yeah, that would look really good.
Okay.
And my guitar is black, so it would really, it would really stand out with with him. So. And his black eyes would match the guitar.
I'm afraid you're creating a monster here.
And I got this awesome neck illusions design on my guitar, which is the DNA neck illusions, and it's all like in red and fire, like it's activated. It's called DNA resonant frequency.
I'm gonna have to look at that one real close to be able to recreate that in a sketch, I think.
Hey, 2 minutes and 1 second. Final words, everybody. Who wants to go first?
For me, they're here. They're fun. Converse with them. Get to know them. Their family. Their cousins. And official first contact should be a very good time.
I can't wait because
What's the website?
I got a date with Rudy and Teeny.
Oh, good. You're gonna have a triad.
Yeah, I'm taking them. I'm taking them ballroom dancing.
That's right.
Yeah, on board a craft above Venus.
Sounds like fun. John, final words. Got like 1 minute and 49 seconds.
I see that Kevin offers unlimited all-access guitar lessons for diminished scales, diatonic extensions, legato, ricochet. What website can they access those courses?
Oh, just go to my website www.pyramidsonmars, and there's a big huge button there. Just click on it; it'll take you to the website.
Excellent.
Everything can be found at my website. It'll take you a link. It'll take you to my radio show, my guitar lessons. Everything is there. www.pyramidsonmars.com.
All right.
Thanks for having us, guys, and thanks for calling.
Thank you. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, John. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, wonderful Zeta. Meet in person very soon. And thank you, listeners. Much love and blessings, and aloha.
Aloha.
This phone drives me crazy.
Excuse me, I'm the Sprint intern from Sprint. Try my new iPhone XR with an amazing liquid retina display.
This is amazing. Mind if I snap a few photos? Look at that color. I love this display.
I'm gonna need that back.
Switch to Sprint and get iPhone XR 64 gigabytes for $0 per month with an eligible trade-in and a Sprint Flex lease. Visit a Sprint store, sprint.com/iPhone, or call 1-800-SPRINT1.
Phone $0 per month for 18 months after $31.25 per month. Credit applied within 2 bills. If cancel early, remaining balance due. Excludes tax. Subject to credit. $30 activation fee. Coverage and offer not everywhere. Restrictions apply.